In this video, we'll be taking a look at 3 NFL games happening on September 24th, 2023, and providing you with free team picks and total picks for each one of those games. So 2 picks for each game, 6 picks in total. Welcome back to Cash Out Sports. Let's dive right into it. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe and to click the bell icon to get notified as soon as these videos get released, so that you have more time to plan out your bets as we provide these videos on a daily basis. I can guarantee that you'll have all the important information that you'll need on these 3 NFL games after fully watching this video. One more thing before we start. If you would like to gain access to our best exclusive sports picks to take your journey to the next level, then check out our Patreon in the link down below, where we offer our best single picks, parlay picks, and much more. Now let's get started. Buffalo Bills versus Washington Commanders. The Bills head to Washington for Week 3 action on Sunday, September 24th. Buffalo started the season with a loss to the Jets, but they bounced back with a convincing win over the Raiders in Week 2 as Josh Allen dominated from the pocket. The Commanders have become the darlings of the early portions of the season, as they have started with 2 wins over the Cardinals and Broncos. This will be their stiffest test yet on Sunday. While I understand the trepidation around this game given the potential heavy rain we might see early Sunday afternoon in the Washington, D.C. area, I still fail to see how the Bills are now laying less than 6 points in this matchup. The Commanders are 2-0 and have turned a few heads for sure, but this is about as fraudulent of a 2-0 team as you can find in the NFL. After all, Washington started the season by narrowly defeating the Cardinals 20-16 at home, failing to cover in the process. The Commanders followed that up with a stirring comeback victory against the Broncos, but if we're being honest, some of that comeback was absolutely due to self-inflicted wounds by a struggling Denver team. Washington faced a pair of awful defenses and awful quarterbacks. Neither of those things apply to this game, where the Commanders are stepping up in class in a big way. With all that said, the Bills haven't had the toughest schedule through 2 games, playing the Jets and Raiders, and yet they've looked shaky up to this point and have had issues stopping the run. Many weren't high on the Washington Commanders entering the season, but here they are with a 2-0 record, which includes a comeback win last week over the Broncos on the road. The Commanders have the 7th best total offense, and the defense will only improve as Chase Young gets more reps under his belt. Lots of points here, so the Washington Commanders to cover the spread as underdogs is our full game side pick. Howell will be challenged by the toughest defense he has faced in his young career on Sunday, and I fully expect the Bills to force him into several mistakes. Buffalo has also adjusted its own style offensively in an attempt to keep Allen upright and fresh. Allen rushed for just 7 yards last week, despite the Bills running for nearly 200 yards as a team. The Bills are no longer reliant on their superstar quarterback to do all the heavy lifting, and have done a better job of controlling tempo thus far and not relying on quick scores. Through 2 weeks, the Bills are second in the NFL in time of possession. Expect Washington to try and do the same thing on Sunday, utilize their ground game, and control the clock. The Commanders are a solid 7th in the NFL in time of possession this season. I don't think they will succeed on the same level as the Bills on Sunday, but it will certainly cut back the scoring overall. These are likely 2 of the best defenses in football. Given that the conditions for this game are expected to be wet, I expect both defensive fronts to create havoc in the opposing backfield, and both offenses to emphasize running the ball on early downs. This should eat plenty of clock and put scoring drives at a premium once either team crosses midfield. Even if the weather turns out to be much less of a factor than some are anticipating, I still trust both defenses to make plays and consistently get off the field on 3rd down. We saw the Bills struggle with the Jets' stout defense on the road in Week 1, and I don't have much faith in Sam Howell against a Buffalo defensive unit that is finally healthy and gave the Raiders fits last week. This line has dropped nearly 3 points since opening at 46 to start the week, and for good reason. Under the projected total is our full game total pick. Atlanta Falcons versus Detroit Lions. The surprising Atlanta Falcons hit the road on Sunday to take on the Detroit Lions in a battle of 2 up-and-coming teams out of the National Football Conference. The Falcons sit atop the National Football Conference South Division after starting the season at 2-0 after wins over the Panthers and Packers in back-to-back home games to begin the season. The Lions come in at 1-1 following a thrilling overtime defeat against the Seahawks on Sunday. This should be an exciting matchup on Sunday as the up-and-coming Falcons look to improve to 3-0. Honestly, I'm not buying the hype of the Lions this year, especially considering all of the lingering injuries that they have. There's a chance that Detroit will be without Amon-Ra St. Brown, and it's confirmed that David Montgomery and C.J. Gardner-Johnson will be sidelined as well. Without two of Jared Goff's favorite targets, I'm curious as to who he'll be able to rely on in the passing game. The Detroit Lions are probably the rightful favorites at home, but I'm not laying a field goal and a hook with a team that couldn't stop the Seahawks offense with extra time to prepare. The Falcons have been respectful on both sides of the ball through 2 games, and their ground attack has been even more impressive. The Lions need to fix their defense before they can be trusted in the favorite role against average to above average teams. The bottom line is that both of these teams are in the developmental stage, taking baby steps forward. But, as they say, the best ability is availability, and the Falcons have a pretty healthy lineup. I believe that they have a really solid chance to win this game outright. So the Atlanta Falcons to cover the spread as underdogs is our full game side pick. While I'm a little nervous as to who Goff will throw to in this game, there's no denying that the Lions have an ability to score points at home. Look for guys like Josh Reynolds and Khalif Raymond to step up in the receiving game and get a few more targets in this contest. As for Atlanta, I'm expecting them to put up a ton of points and match Detroit's pace in this game. The biggest concern surrounding the Lions' defense is their inability to get to the quarterback. We saw Pete Carroll add in some chip blocks to help his backup tackles, and that worked to his favor in a big way. Arthur Smith should be able to implement similar strategies and help his offensive line keep Desmond Ridder upright. If he has time, he'll be able to pick apart this Detroit secondary. This total has dropped a half a point since opening at 47 points to begin the week. I like this game to be played at a fast pace, as dictated by the Lions. Detroit will try to score early and fast to force the Falcons to play a more aggressive offensive style and keep them from taking the air out of the ball with their ground attack. Ridder will be forced to throw his most pass attempts on the season this Sunday, and while it won't be a rousing success, he will find some plays down the field against a Lions secondary that is ranked 26th in the NFL against the pass. Expect this game to be fairly high scoring and push over the 50-point mark. Over the projected total is our full game total pick. Carolina Panthers versus Seattle Seahawks. The Carolina Panthers will be trying to pick up their first road win of the season when they face the Seattle Seahawks on Sunday afternoon. The game will be played at Lumen Field. The Panthers are coming off a 20-17 loss to New Orleans as 3-point underdogs. The Seahawks are coming off a 37-31 win over Detroit as 4.5-point underdogs. Seattle is 7-3 in its last 10 games against Carolina. The Seahawks earned a statement, come from behind victory in Detroit last week. They won't struggle on Sunday with momentum on their side. Carolina will be without Young, and while he hasn't looked good in his first 2 games, Dalton isn't the type of backup capable of leading it to an upset win. I have my doubts that he'll perform well enough in spot duty as well. Smith and company responded well to their disappointing loss to Los Angeles, winning in overtime in front of a hostile Lions crowd. That fan base was dying to see their team back in the limelight, and in their first home game of the season, Seattle came in and stole its juice. Seattle held up in pass coverage with backup tackles Forsyth and Curran filling in last week and should hold up fine again versus Carolina. As long as that's the case, the Seahawks offense will be plenty balanced, scoring on the ground and through the air. And 0-2 start to the season would have been crippling to Seattle's playoff hopes, but it responded with its back against the wall. Lumen Field remains a tough place to play, and you'd assume a road overtime win over the Lions will get the Seahawks a needed shot in the arm coming back home. The Carolina Panthers haven't done much offensively through 2 games, and it's hard to believe things change with a washed-up Andy Dalton at quarterback. The Panthers are 25th in run defense, which isn't ideal when the Seahawks have a mobile quarterback as well in Geno Smith. And 0-2 start to the season would have been crippling to Seattle's playoff hopes, but it responded with its back against the wall. With momentum at its back, Seattle will handle its business at home. This feels like a spot where the Seahawks can get rolling and get a comfortable home victory under their belt to feel good about themselves. So the Seattle Seahawks to win and cover the spread as favorites is our full game side pick. The Panthers are averaging 13.5 points per game through 2 games. They scored 10 points in their lone road game and averaged 27 points per game in their last 3 games against the Seahawks. They are facing a defense that has been unable to stop the pass and is giving up 30.5 points per game, so expect them to go score somewhere near their average in this game. The Seahawks are averaging 25 points per game through 2 games. They scored 13 points in their lone home game and averaged 28 points per game in their last 3 games against the Panthers. They They throw the ball well and they're facing a good pass defense that is giving up 22 points per game. The Panthers and Seahawks played over the total in their last 7 meetings. The Panthers should be better off with Dalton under center. Red Rifle will provide them with more stability, better pocket presence, and more offensive balance. As long as Miles Sanders plays, Carolina will find success against the Seahawks defense, which is down a handful of bodies after giving up 67 points in its first 2 games. Seattle should also have plenty of offensive firepower to work within Sunday's game. Smith played like his best self last week, completing 32 of 41 passes for 328 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 0 picks. With Metcalf probable to suit up and Lockett coming off a 2-score showing, the aerial attack will be tough for the Panthers to stop, and Kenneth Walker III should continue to provide a scoring punch in the red zone. Over the projected total is our full game total pick. That's all for now, so if you have any other games you would like reviewed, then leave a comment down below with the game you would like analyzed. Subscribe to our channel, leave a like on this video, and we'll get to it as soon as we possibly can. We would also love to hear your opinion on the picks presented to you in this video, whether you agree or disagree with them, so leave a comment down below and do let us know.